Whisky, man. So I'm doing a wee bit something different right today. I am doing a chocolate whiskey tasting of my own. For those who don't know, I'm a driver guide. I work in Scotland, in the Scottish Highlands, and a couple of months ago, a very nice family from America, from Albuquerque, gave me a wee gift as part of the tour. In the tour and all that, and it is their own chocolate. So they actually make their own chocolate. I've already taken it out of the actual packaging and all that, so I'll just show you what they've given me. So the company is called Alexa Bouquet Chocolates, and I'll read a wee description about them. So Tim McNamara and Larry Todd have been making fine chocolates in Albuquerque, New Mexico for more than 25 years. Each flavour has been developed to produce a rich and creamy taste sensation and an incredible chocolate experience for our customers. Each confection is handcrafted in the artisan style. Our chocolate creations are made with the finest chocolate and the freshest ingredients available. So I'm going to try this chocolate. I've got all the four here, and I thought, what best way to try chocolate than with whiskey? So I've got 4 drams. I was trying to think what drams to go for, so I thought I'd do a sort of north, south, east and west feel. Not necessarily the most northern distilleries or the most southern or the west, well, the most western and the most eastern, but quite close to the edge of both them compass points. I'm going to have one chocolate with 1 dram each, and let's see how this goes. Yeah. So I'm going to try the first one. I've actually accidentally I thought I was recording and I wasn't recording. So I actually had a wee bite of the first chocolate, you can tell. But that is a dark chocolate raspberry flavour. And the whiskey I'm having is Lockley, our barley. So Lockley, it's one of the new kids in the block. So that's our south distillery. And then the lowlands. It's actually the area of farmland that Robert Burns was many years ago and all that. He stayed there with, I believe it was his father at the time. One of the farms he stayed in the Lochleys. So there's actually a farmland, and they converted the site into distillery, and they actually grow their own barley as well, which is really good. So it's all done on site. And even though it's quite a young dram, it's definitely getting a lot of good reputation and all that. And obviously they just released a 5-year-old recently, which has gone down quite well. They started production, I believe, in 2018. The first whiskey came out in 2022, and that was one we're trying to try right now, our barley, and that's finished in Oloroso, ex-bourbon, and also STR casks and all that. So it's the shaven, toasted, and recharred cask. So it gives it a good bit of wood to it as well, good bit of earthiness to the whiskey. I already tried it. You can tell the bite in the whiskey. So yeah, I'll try it again for you just to show you I have tried it. Yep. The raspberry is not overpowering. It's quite a creamy, even though it's dark chocolate goes really well with whiskey, by the way. I always say it's a great manners, dark chocolate and whiskey. I don't think all the ones I've got here are dark chocolate though. No, they're not. But dark chocolate and whiskey go really well together. And even though it's raspberry, it's not overpowering. It's a nice sort of sort of smooth raspberry coming through. It's quite creamy as well, this chocolate. Quite nice. I'm gonna try it with whiskey now as well. Yeah, so with the Lockley or barley gut, it's a nice sort of like fruit notes coming out as well. a wee bit of sort of toffee and all that I get, and citrus too. So it's actually quite a nice combination with the raspberry dark chocolate there. Yeah, so that's whiskey one. So the next one we're going to go for now is the East. So I'm going Speyside for this one. So Macduff is in the seaside coastline of Murray Firth, and they've had a distillery there since the 1960s. And the whiskey I've chosen is from that boutique whiskey company, and it's their Macduff 11-year-old batch 6. And I'm pairing it with what I believe is a peanut butter milk chocolate. So that's going to be quite interesting because Macduff is known for being quite a, I wouldn't call it a delicate whiskey, but it's got light notes and all that. It's doesn't have much bump to it, so maybe having the peanut butter with this one might not be the best call. That's what I'm going to go for. So let's see. First of all, I'll try the peanut butter. Similar to the raspberry like that. It's no overpowering. It's not overpowering with the flavor. The peanut butter is there, but when you think peanut butter, you think, oh, you're gonna get a massive hit. Um, but no, that's quite nice actually. Try whiskey now. Nice. It's funny because whiskey actually I'm now getting a massive hit of peanut butter after I had a whiskey. I know that there's a wee bit of nut flavors in the Macduff 11, so maybe that's actually helping to dramatize the peanut butter flavor. But I prefer that combination to the first one. That's lovely that. I'm gonna just try it again. I'm gonna try it both now at the same time. That feels a bit more sticky than the first one. Um, and even though it's a bit more sickly because obviously the peanuts, I think being it in the flavors come out a bit more with the nuttiness of the Macduff. I prefer that over the first one. But yeah, two very nice chocolates, two very nice whiskies. So let's move on to whiskey number 3. So we're going north now, and one of the most northern distilleries, it was the most northern distilleries until recently, but it's one of the most northern distilleries in Scotland. It's Wilburn. And this is actually the second time we've had our distillery called Wilburn up in Thurso. So the first one was around the 1820s. No, 1820s, yeah, and they went for about 50 odd years, and then it ceased production around 1877. No one's 100% sure why. But then the new one opened in 2013, and they've had a few bottles out since. The one I'm trying now is Wilburn Batch 270. I think I may have got to show you the actual Macduff one from the second video, so that's the Macduff one. And that's a 48%. And this Wilburn here is 46%. I'm going to try it. The chocolate I'm going to try it with is, this is down as a Yasmin tea, dark chocolate. An interesting flavour that's going to be. And also the Wilburn is quite a very vanilla flavour. It's very sort of buttery sort of whiskey and all that. So this should be quite an intrigue. I always compare the first Wilburns as having a breakfast dram because it feels like you're having your breakfast bread or toasted croissant in the morning sort of thing. That's the sort of flavour I get from it. So any excuse to have whiskey for breakfast, I guess. So let's try the Yasmin tea chocolate first. Very light, very delicate. I'm actually not a massive chocolate fan, to be fair. I know I don't dislike chocolate, but it's just not a thing I really have much of in my life. I'm more sort of like a sweet candy sort of thing, like maybe brown sugar or something like that. But that's quite nice, very delicate. The tea's coming out at the end actually. It's a very, took me a while to get the tea flavours, but it is there. Try whiskey now. It's quite nice that, I mean, as I say, it's like, that feels like, like a very light dram. Not like delicate, but light enough you can have that. It's like a morning dram. That's your sort of thing. A breakfast dram. And yeah, you could have them two combined. It could be a breakfast, sort of like your breakfast sort of whiskey and breakfast sort of wheat chocolate there. I'll try them together now and see how that goes. Let me have some water first though. Ah, lovely. So yeah, that's my favourite combination so far. So we've had south, we've had east, we've had north. Now it's time to go back home for me. It's time to go west. So the last one is the lime cheesecake, white chocolate, and I said I'm going west. I'm going best. I've got the Hedoch from the Isle of Harris. So the most western distillery is actually only a few miles from there. It's actually called Avangerag, which is in the same island, even though it's got on the Isle of Lewis and Harris, but couldn't get any samples of the Avangerag. So I got the Hedoch instead, which they opened in 2015. Or at least I started doing the gin first. In fact, many of you may have heard of the gin, the world famous Harris gin. And they released the first whiskey last year after 8 years of distillation and maturation. That was called the Hedoch, which is the Gaelic for Harris. And I think they sold over £1 million of stock in the first 4 hours of sales, like last September. October, September, October, I think it's like October actually. Which is completely nuts for an island that size. Just over 1,000 people live in Harris. But the distillery, it's one of the most beautiful distilleries in the world actually. Based in Tarbert, the town of Harris. Overlooking the bay, looking at the bay and all that. So yeah, so if you ever get a chance to go to Harris, is obviously known for its many beautiful beaches, probably the best one being at Lascantera. But it's a stunning island, and obviously now with the Harris distillery there, it just added another dimension to the island to go and visit it. It's really on the up. So let's try this now. I like that. Very light. That's very nice actually. The Harris is known for being a bit peated, so this might be quite interesting having a very light, delicate white chocolate compared to. It's not a strong peat, but it's definitely the most peated. It's actually probably the only peated whiskey I've got on the table here today, so this will be quite interesting to see how the flavours contrast. Here you go. Very different, very different. I don't think I want to like the other four, put them in my mouth together at the same time. And I thought the other three I could do that with. At the end, put the chocolate, and then at the end, finish it with the whiskey. I don't think that would work. Um, but you know what's really weird? Like, again, what the lime was quite delicate when I first tasted chocolate. And see how now I had the whiskey, it's brought the lime flavors even more. So we get a very strong peated lime finish, which is quite nice. Um, do I dare try the whiskey and it together? See how I feel. Because actually quite sickly doing that, I realised after the second one I thought blast, but because I did it for the first two, I thought I've got to continue for the third one. But yeah, it's really weird actually. I'm not sure if I prefer that combination to the third one. There's more flavors in that combination, but yeah, I think the last one there, the lime and the peat mixes quite well. Um, so so that's that. So just yeah, I'll post this when I get a moment. But I hope you enjoyed that wee little video of me tasting chocolate. So I'll show you again. I'll pop on the link as well, the website to that company. But it's very nice chocolate. I'm not a chocolate fan, but very very nice, and they give me that gift. And it is, even though I'm not a chocolate fan, I have enjoyed the chocolate. That's always a good thing when you're not a fan of something but you still enjoy it. That shows you that it's obviously definitely a good product. Um, and also I enjoy the whiskey as well. But we all know I enjoy the whiskey. Yeah, so that's that. I hope you enjoyed this. So I'm going to finish off my Harris now. So I'll head off. So, Stan Shiva.